Howdy folks. I saw that last time I did a vinyl and CD update was a video uploaded the 2nd of November. So I thought, why not do a vinyl and CD update, even though it has been a pretty calm month. I have been buying stuff here and there, but not big stuff. Of course, it has been Christmas in the middle also, that makes it a little bit calmer also, but I have some stuff to show. Some of you might have seen them, many of them at previous streams, but hey, let's show for those who doesn't follow the streams. Starting with, we have a whole lot of different formats. We have CDs, we have 45s, we have full-length vinyls, and of course I will not include the stuff I got from the package opening I did the last video. That have a video of its own, of course, so that will not be included here. But I also have something as unusual as 78s. So let's start with some real oldies and some real classic ones. Some of them are Swedish, but I start with a Danish, something Danish. Danish jazz is mainly remembered for the violinist Sven Asmussen. But here we have Peter Rasmussen Quintet and Lime Juice and Song of the Night. It feels a little bit odd, but really fun. It's a great one. We have Tore Jederby, a Swedish bass player that was very frequent in the jazz era. Tore Jederby Orchestra. I got The Sun in the Morning, and it's wonderful. And we have also Miles Davis and his orchestra, which here is in form of the nonette that he had. So this is songs from Birth of the Cool, released on 45s, which it was originally made for. On Capitol, Move and Budo. Real classics. So now I have Birth of the Cool on full-length vinyl, the original. I have it on CD, complete Birth of the Cool. I have various that came afterwards, and I also have on 478. We have more Swedish. No, we take this first. This is Duke Ellington and his famous orchestra, and a real classic. This is Caravan. Normally, I've said it before that Duke Ellington's most classic songs I'm a little bit fed up with, but Caravan is one big exception. I still love Caravan. And Dusk on the Desert at the B-side. Caravan, typical moody Duke Ellington, and one who really took after that and who really was influenced by that was Swedish big band leader Sam Samson, and a lot of his songs sounds like Ellington's most moody moments. So this is Sam Samson Orchestra with a couple of songs by Duke Ellington, Moonglow and Solitude. So that was it from 78. Now let's move on to a pretty big stack of 45s. Starting with the Siblings from UK, 5-star, some of my favorite 80s soul pop band. And a nice early one called Love Takes Over from 1985. the album Grease will not make it here to my house. I can say that. I'm no huge fan of those fake 50s cheesy Grease songs with Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. But the soundtrack have one exception, and it is the title track by Frankie Valli, Grease. That one is by far the best song on that soundtrack and from that movie. Some 60s soul. We have Aretha Franklin, Baby I Love You, and Going Down Slow. As you might remember, I showed her sister when I unboxed the package, Irma Franklin. We have some really nice early synth pop in its finest form. An amazing classic, Oxygen 4 by Jean-Michel Jarre. Of course, I have shown the album multiple times. It's still one of the best albums ever. But it's really nice to have the 45 also. And another one who experimented in the 70s a lot with synthesizer were this guy, but this is a pretty early one from 72, before he started for real with synthesizer. Giorgio, with last name Moroder. But take a look at this mustache. It's criminally insane. Sons of My Father and Underdog. Michael Jackson and Rockin' Robin. Rockin' Robin and Love Is Here and Now You're Gone. Really great B-side. Back to the 80s, and a song that I've heard multiple times, but I really want to get hold of the 45, and now I finally have it. John Lewis and You Always Find Me in the Kitchen at Parties. This is a nice little oddity in the synth pop business from the 80s. This is from 1980. Bureaucrats at the B-side. We have a band that normally don't get too many chances here in my collection, but this is actually a great song. Sonny and Cher and The Beat Goes On. Turn Around at the B-side. From the 60s back to the 50s. This is an artist that I normally don't listen all that much to, but this is actually a great song. We have Pat Boone and April Love. From the motion picture with the same name. Elton John and a really nice one, Crocodile Rock. Elderberry Wine at the B-side. (1978), this single became a pretty big hit here in Europe, though the band was from South Africa. Talking about the band Clout and the song Substitute. This is a name that in the 80s could be heard a lot of places, in a lot of rock songs, as composer, as producer, and so on. But he had his own career, Desmond Child and Rouge, and we have Give in to My Love, and Main Man, 1979. Coming to some singles that actually was blind buys. In the last Vinyl CD update, I showed a lot of blind buys. Here comes more. Though this was a blind buy when I bought it, but it turned out when I listened to it that, hey, I've heard this one. But it is great to have it because it's a good song. Marshall Hain, a band that existed a very, very short time, and this was their only hit, I think. Dancing in the City. Dancing in the City. 1978. This is definitely was definitely blind buy. It's a band called Europa. A song called "Turn Me Off, Turn Me On." But it is a really nice 70s disco style, European disco style. And definitely I will keep it. It's really, really nice sound to it. As is this. This was even better. This is artist that I never heard of when I bought it. But I got it for 10 cents. Why not? The artist is called Jerome, first name Steve, and the song calls "If You Walk Out That Door," and Token at the B-side. And this is a really, really nice 70s soul style, soul disco style. I was very positively surprised by this one, so highly recommended. Jerome. I showed Elton John before. And here comes an artist released on his label. She was a part of one of these audition contests in the 70s. And Elton John got fascinated by her, though she ended up being a TV host instead. Linda Fletcher, An Angel of Love. And Star at the B-side. This is actually a pretty good single. Too bad she didn't become a big star. Now, CDs. Starting with something really special. Earlier this week, I got a mail from a jazz club in a city called from a city called Hässleholm, which is in the south part of Sweden, way down in the southern part. And for some reason, they wanted to send me a record and information about their jazz club, because they have seen my name and seen what I've done in blogs and YouTube and so on. Really nice of them. But it was very interesting. I got a CD from them by a vocalist called Etta Cameron and Etta Cameron Group, live in Hässleholm. So it was recorded during a concert in their jazz club that they recorded. So anyone who will get a hold of this have to, I guess, become a member in their jazz club. 11th November 11th, 1997. I haven't listened to it yet, but it was very, very nice. Very interesting. We have Benny Goodman. And we have something that I bought yesterday, actually. One might think that I have now soon have everything that Goodman has released, but that is obviously not the case. This is Live Swing Sessions, 1943 to 49. So in a double album set, released on Swing House, German label. Now this is live on the plus side, and it's also from a lot of the recordings from late 40s that I don't have that much Benny Goodman by. So this is going to be very, very interesting. And while we add Benny Goodman, in the last vinyl CD update, I showed this when you had Benny Goodman play classical music. And I've managed to find more of that because here is Benny Goodman playing classical music again with Arturo Toscanini, Bela Bartok, Joseph Szigeti, and Earl Wind. And the Bela Bartok one is the same as this one. But the rest is I don't have since before. It is famous, the classical work that he became most famous for when he plays the clarinet quintet in A major together with the Budapest String Quartet. It became a very popular and famous classical work that Benny Goodman participated in. And he also is playing in George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. I listened to it, and it sounds very, very nice. And it's interesting to hear that Benny Goodman, no matter if he plays classical or jazz, he's just as energetic on the clarinet. More classical music. I don't buy all that often, but if I find it, it's very nice to have if it is older recordings. And this is very old recordings because this is recordings from between 1932 to 1935 with Vladimir Horowitz. You can see he plays Bach, Scarlatti, Haydn, Beethoven, Schumann, Debussy, Poulenc. Very nice. More classical, but with a little twist, because this is classical music with jazz, in jazz style. And then we're talking about the pianist Jacques Louzier and Trio, because he's famous French musician that takes classical music and turn them into jazz. And here has taken Bach Brandenburg concertos and turned it into jazz. This is going to be very, very interesting. Now, pure jazz. We have, I'm not that fond of jazz and violin, but of course there are exceptions for everything, and one who is a really nice exception is Joe Venuti, a real classic jazz violinist. Recordings from 1926 to 31. Really nice recordings on Naxos Jazz Legends. A violin is not that ordinary in jazz, and another instrument that isn't that ordinary in jazz is harmonica. And the jazz most famous harmonica player is, of course, Belgian-Danish Toots Thielemans. And this is a jazz hour which usually isn't my favorite label, but this is recordings from 73 and 74, and sounds very, very nice. And I really wanted to have this one. Early jazz again. This is Louis Armstrong and his orchestra, and an album released on original American Decca recordings on MCA's GRP. These are Heart Full of Rhythm, Volume 2, 36 to 38. Normally I prefer Louis Armstrong in his oldest fashion till his orchestra, and this is his orchestra in the final moment. So it's a little on the edge, but it sounds really, really nice actually. His voice hasn't become that raspy yet, and it is his orchestra. So I assume that with that, my Louis Armstrong limit is 20 and 30s. After that, it becomes Dixieland again, and I can bear without that. Pianist, one of my absolute favorites, Art Tatum. This is another one, one released on Storywheel Records. This is Live 1944-45, Volume 2. I'm starting to get a little bit cautious when it comes to Art Tatum because I have so much that I soon don't know what I have. But I don't have that much live recordings with Art Tatum, so this one looked very, very interesting. Now we're leaving jazz for the moment. Genesis and The Way We Walk, Volume 1, the shorts that I got for $1. No, $5, for 50 cents. Sorry, 50 cents. So they're single classics in live recording. We have Michelle Gale, which was a 90s soul singer. Her most famous song was the song Freedom. Your Love was her most famous song. So it's very, very interesting. 90s soul. Now we're going to full-length vinyl. And we have little reordering here. This is maybe one of the best findings so far in 2026, which of course is only a month old, but the first real great finding. This is an artist that I have that I started to like during past summer, or should I say 2 summers ago, that I found very, very interesting. His name is Jake Bugg. He is a British indie pop artist that actually is very fascinated. Seems to be very fascinated in the 90s Britpop era. He has a voice that sometimes sounds a bit like Liam Gallagher of Oasis, and Oasis and Suede goes a lot through at least the past work you've done. Now this is an older one, and I have no idea how it sounded back then, but I couldn't leave it out because this is Jake Bugg's second album from 2013, from 2013, and it costed me $1. Only $1 for Jake Bugg's second album from 2013. Now, an album that new is not that cheap, so I think I got it for a really, really awesome price. I'm very satisfied, and it's going to be very interesting to hear the early works of Jake Bugg. We have Billy Preston, Love Late at Night from 1981, which contains his single with Sarita, With You I'm Born Again. Really nice soul. This is motion picture from a movie. I have no idea what it is. I never seen the movie, but I got interested in it because it is a musician that is also very interesting that composed it. This is the motion picture soundtrack from a movie called The Fortune Cookie with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Some of you might have seen it, but the music is composed by Andre Previn, a director who plays both jazz and classical music. And I listened to quick peeks of it, and it sounds very, very interesting soundtrack. 1966 is the movie from, so I assume that this album is also from that. Going back to jazz, we're into some records that I bought yesterday now. This sleeve may not look all that good, but I couldn't resist it. This is saxophone player Charlie Ventura, and Charlie Ventura Plays for the People, released on Craftsman. But you don't listen with the sleeve, as I said. very, very interesting because Charlie Ventura has released some really, really nice swing jazz albums. Really great saxophone player. Now we have we had unusual jazz instruments in both harmonica and violin. Here comes another one, accordion. I'm very fascinated in accordion jazz. When they play with accordion, guitar, vibes, it sounds very, very relaxing, very, very smooth and nice. Here's the most famous name of it, Art van Dam and Art in the Black Forest, Art van Dam Quintet. Released on German MPS that had Oscar Peterson sign for a moment. This is very, very interesting. And we have an Aretha Franklin here, and it's an album called Aretha from 1986. It's the one that contains Jumping Jack Flash and I Knew You Were Waiting for Me with George Michael. We have some 70s. Neil Sedaka and the Tra-La-La Days Are Over. The interesting thing about this is that Neil Sedaka had some collaboration with a couple of names that would be more famous under their band name. The album before this one, it was working with the names Lol Cream, Eric Stewart, Graham Goldman, and Kevin Godley. And when this album had been released, the men had been forming their more famous name, 10cc. So this is literally a 10cc album with Neil Sedaka at the vocal, and it sounds really, really nice. Definitely one of the best Neil Sedaka albums I've listened to, and I don't have all that much, but I have the album after this, Laughter in the Rain, and it's also a really great one, but this one is even better. Highly recommended. We have the Christmas time is over, but it doesn't stop me from showing a Christmas buy and show a Christmas album with Partridge Family, a Partridge Family Christmas card. As usual, Shirley Jones and David Cassidy are the one who is the faces. The rest of the Partridge Family was just actors. But I took a little chance because I was a little bit scared that this would be typical with choir, with jingle bells, with these ordinary songs. But they managed to surprise me a lot because they have taken the ordinary Christmas songs and made 70s pop out of them. This contains one of the best versions of White Christmas I ever heard, with the exception from the original with Bing Crosby, of course. But they managed to take to skip the most obvious way of doing these Christmas classics and do something new with it. And I'm very surprised. It's definitely a really great Christmas album. Now we're going back to jazz. This is Louis Bellson and Louis Bellson Big Band and Dynamite. And this is a live recording from Concord Jazz Festival in 1979. Louis Bellson, who was a famous drummer, who played with the big names, but had a big band in the later part of his career. And the rest is organ. We had violin, we had harmonica, we had accordion. Why not have Hammond organ? This is Organ Serenade with a band called the Organ Happenings. Now, the name Organ Happenings, I don't find all that much information about at all. But what sounds interesting is they managed to mix Hammond organ and harpsichord, which is very, very odd. It sounds very, very unique and very special. So this is going to be very, very interesting to listen in its full. They play classical stuff like I Can't Give You Anything But Love, Caravan, here we go again, Who's Sorry Now, Moonglow, again, and so on. A very, very interesting Jas Hammond album. And when it comes to Jas Hammond, we have this one, The Greatest Organ Players. It's a double album set with all of these names. And very, very interesting. And as you can see, Jimmy Smith is a part of it. And what better way to end it than having the man himself? Because I bought a lot of Jimmy Smith. I've shown my entire Jimmy Smith collection. I have a huge Jimmy Smith collection because I bought at least one Jimmy Smith a year during the 00s and 2010s. But then it has been a really, really dry decade now for a while. And I haven't managed to find any special Jimmy Smith at all. But the dry is over. I managed to finally come out of the desert, and I found this, the exciting Jimmy Smith with the Don Gardner trio. Don Gardner, I don't know all that much about it, but it is a really, really nice record. Also a record that I found showed at my year in review. But it is new. I can't resist of showing it again. So that was the past 2 months findings. So let's see now what the future holds, what I will be managing to find. Now the weather has been mixing of very snowy and cold. It's been really nice winter day today, so nice winter weather in Sweden at the moment. So until next time, I hope that every one of you have a really nice time, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. Take care and so long.